Right now at 5, a car drives off I-44 and overturns in the woods.
And we've got ourselves a breezy, mild start to our Tuesday morning, and even a few showers out there. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
Also, a man who shot a Nevada, Missouri woman learns his sentence.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Carrie Worthen.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's mild compared to yesterday because yesterday we upper 30s. Now we're sitting upper 50s, lower 60s across the area. We also have a few showers and even a couple of rumbles of thunder out there this morning. We mentioned that these would be getting going, and by golly, there they are. Now we had been watching our tower cam from 7th and Rangeline, and initially there was some more isolated activity just to the southeast of Chanute, and we saw a little bit more lightning. Now the lightning's kind of dissipated, and we just got these showers, and you can see there's one lightning strike right by Independence. There's another one picked up just to the north of Chanute. So still a couple of rumbles of thunder out there, but nothing too crazy with that. And in all honesty, majority of any additional activity through the morning in terms of thunderstorms should be confined to our north. Now as we head into tomorrow, especially tomorrow evening, it looks like what we were expecting through Friday, maybe moving up a day here. We have that low end risk for maybe a strong storm or two across southeast Kansas, and then maybe some scattered storms as we head into our Thursday. So this is what that looks like. Morning storms by late morning, they are out of here, and then we are left with clear skies, temperatures getting quite warm. And we'll actually remain dry until we get into later on the day on Wednesday. Could see a few scattered showers. And then we'll see some additional thunderstorm development take place early into Thursday morning out here. And you can see we've got showers, we've got thunderstorms going into Thursday morning. By the afternoon, we've got a few more. And as the evening presses on, they continue to roll off to the southeast. Now, as we go into Thursday, any stronger storms should remain well to our southeast. And you can see that line, let me step to this side, really gets going once it rolls through our area. MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline, we are looking good so far. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400 just south of Pittsburgh. Quick check of the currents out there. We are sitting at 63 in Joplin, partly cloudy, gusty winds though. We mentioned that too. Gusting upwards of 35 out of the south-southwest. 59 Pittsburgh, 63 Chanute Parsons, 61 Miami, 60 Neosho, and 62 in Carthage. Get our day started. Again, a few scattered showers, thunderstorms, lower 70s by late morning. As we head into the afternoon, we'll start to clear out. We remain a bit on the breezy side, but very warm. Temperatures pushing the lower 80s. And as we go into tonight, another mild evening, clear skies, some breezy conditions here and there. And then we're dropping back down to the lower 60s for overnight lows. Carrie?
Thanks, Chris. Authorities charge a Joplin man for a pair of burglaries. According to JPD, 2 burglaries occurred in close proximity and around the same time frame at Boyd Metals and Joplin Plumbing earlier this month. At Joplin Plumbing, the suspect damaged an excavator, stole thousands of dollars worth of tools, and a 2001 Toyota Tundra truck. The suspect was captured on surveillance video and identified as Clayton D. Burke. When located by detectives, Burke was in possession of property stolen during one of the burglaries. Prosecutors have filed charges of the first and second degree burglary. A teenager is arrested after a burglary report at Vapor Maven on South Rangeline Road in Joplin. It happened shortly after midnight Saturday morning. When officers arrived, they noticed a back door was unsecured. Officers found a 17-year-old male inside the building, and they say he refused to follow orders and fled. Officers then chased and arrested the teen without incident. The report says the suspect broke display cases and stole both vapes and cash. A vehicle drives off the road on I-44 in Joplin and overturns in the woods. Authorities say about 4:30 Monday afternoon, a single vehicle overturned off the right side of I-44 and ended up in the trees. Joplin Fire, Joplin Police, Metro 1, and Newton County Ambulance all responded emergency. Joplin Fire rescued the driver and the infant passenger from the wreckage. Joplin Police Department says the driver and the infant passenger were transported to an area hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. A person fearing for his safety and the safety of others struggles with an armed suspect. The incident happened around 1 a.m. on Saturday. Authorities responded to reports of a gunshot in the area of 5th and Joplin Avenue. Police say staff at Club XO denied entry to the man, and then the man allegedly went to a car in the parking lot. A citizen says they followed the man and saw him get a AR-style pistol from the car. The citizen then put the suspect in a neck restraint, and the suspect left the scene. They later arrested 28-year-old Christopher Carter of Joplin, who has a felony convictions and prohibited from possessing a firearm. Carter was released on a $25,000 bond. A man involved in the shooting death of a Nevada, Missouri woman learns his sentence. Jason Hollum is sentenced to 32 total years in prison. He was charged with a second-degree murder for 25 years. His second-degree assault and second-degree burglary charges are from 7 years each and will run concurrently. The victim was 30-year-old Tyree Hollum. The crime happened in 2019. When officers arrived to a home in the 200 block of South Spring Street, they found Jason Hollum and Tara Hollum inside the home. Tara died at the hospital. Authorities say Jason is a prior and persistent offender. These demonstrators in southeast Oklahoma are calling for the registrations of several county leaders who allegedly made racist comments. Governor Kevin Stitt says he too wants the Merced County Sheriff, Commissioner, Investigator, and Jail Administrator to step down. The McCurtain Gazette News says it recorded the local leaders expressing frustration they couldn't hang black people and threatened 2 reporters. At least 100 protesters gathered outside the county commissioners meeting Monday. The accused leaders weren't in the attendance. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the defending state champion, the Frontenac Raiders, take on the Girard Trojans. We'll have the results in sports. Plus, a new test is coming out to help detect Parkinson's. This makes us wonder, how honest are you with your doctor? And a mass shooting causes ripple effect on America's mental health. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
2 of the best softball teams in southeast Kansas meet in Girard, with the Trojans hosting the Frontenac Raiders. Girard is 8-1 overall to start the season, including 6-0 in the CNC. Frontenac is 2-0 in the CNC and has won 6 straight to start the season. The defending state champion Raiders try to stay perfect in a doubleheader with the Trojans. First inning, Eleanor Reek, good start for Girard, gets the strikeout. Game scoreless after 1. Bottom of the second, look at Frontenac's Caitlin Hayslip here. Perfect throw to nail the runner at second. Still scoreless after 2. In the 4th, Raiders strike first. Hayslip grounds it through to the left side. Abby Beeman scores to make it 1-0 Frontenac. Moments later, grounder to short. We get Aaron Anderson. Gets the tag and the throw to first. Double play for Aaron Anderson. Gets the Trojans out of the inning. Bottom 4, Girard ties it back up. It's Reek helping her own cause. Drops it to left. Anderson scores. It's 1-1 on the RBI single. Anderson really comes up for big for Girard on this one. With it tied at 1 in the 5th, she gets a 3-run bomb, and that was the difference. Girard wins Game 1 over Frontenac 4-1, handing the Raiders their first loss of the season. So in Game 2, Girard aims for the sweep, but Frontenac rebounds to take that one 5-1. The Raiders are now 7-1 this season, while Girard is 9-2. High school baseball here. Pittsburgh hosts a doubleheader against St. Thomas Aquinas yesterday afternoon. Down 3-0 in the 5th, Jackson Turnbull up with the bases loaded, hits it hard, but Weston Boyle makes the leaping grab at short for the out. Then in the 7th, final chance for Pittsburgh, again bases loaded. Colin Conrad gets the strikeout to end it. Dragons out-hit Aquinas but fail to score, and they commit 4 errors in this one. Aquinas shuts Pittsburgh out 3-0. Game 2, Pittsburgh able to score. That's the good news. The bad news is the Saints scored a lot. Aquinas makes it a sweep, taking Game 2 15-1. Well, still to come, how allergies are starting earlier thanks to climate change. Plus, we got another check of that forecast and what happens after the rain clears out when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. We got a few showers out there, even some rumbles of thunder. We've been picking up lightning on the radar. Now, one thing about the radar's lightning is it only detects cloud to ground lightning. It does not detect cloud to cloud, and we have seen some of that from our camera at 7th and Rangeline again. Most thunderstorm activity confined in our northern counties. It's not to say that we couldn't get one or two down south, but most of it up there, out of here by the afternoon. Watching the possibility of a strong storm or two as we head into tomorrow and into early Thursday morning in this dark green area, and we'll have a few scattered thunderstorms as we head into our Thursday. So again, these morning storms, they'll get on out of here by late morning and into the early afternoon. After that, we clear out. We are breezy like we are now, but temperatures soar into the lower 80s. And then we're going to watch as we head into Thursday morning, where we've got that possibility of another round of showers and thunderstorms. Now, the good news is at this point, none of this is expected to be strong or severe. We're talking just some general thunderstorms. And as you can see by the afternoon, they start to roll on out of here, and they don't really get going until they get east of us on Thursday by Thursday afternoon. MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline, looks good so far. Same with the KDOT camera at 69 and 400. Of course, that's just south of Pittsburgh. Lightning never performs on command, but you might see some. Otherwise, we're 63 in Joplin, south-southwest breeze at 23, gusting to 35 out there, and it's going to remain breezy like that through today. 59 Iola, 63 Parsons, 61 in Miami, 60 Neosho, and 62 in Carthage. As we get our morning started, we'll have some of those scattered storms, breezy, warming up nicely though, lower 70s by late morning. Heading into the afternoon, we're up to the lower 80s. We clear out. We remain breezy, and we'll still have some gusty winds heading into the evening and overnight hours. But again, mild, clear, dropping back down to the lower 60s yet again across the area. Well, we got nice temperatures, lower 70s tomorrow, Thursday, lower 60s Friday. And those stars Saturday, yeah, we could tie the record low high or break the record low high on Saturday and potentially break the record low Saturday night. So again, if you've got some plants outside, make sure you are prepared for this next round of pretty cold weather heading into the weekend. Well, at least 500,000 people in the United States have been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, according to the National Institutes of Health. But that number is likely higher as many people go undiagnosed or are misdiagnosed. Early detection is critical since many therapies work best when given at first sign of symptoms or before. Mandy Gaither has more on new lab tests that may change the way Parkinson's disease is diagnosed and could lead to preventing symptoms altogether.
The signs can be subtle at first. Parkinson's disease is a progressive condition that typically isn't diagnosed until physical symptoms appear, like tremors and trouble balancing. But new lab tests may be changing that.
He is a game changer in Parkinson's disease, no question.
The new tests detect traces of a key protein that abnormally clumps in the brain of a person with Parkinson's disease. One test, SynTap, looks for seeds of the protein in spinal fluid. A large study by the Michael J. Fox Foundation found that overall the test correctly identified people with Parkinson's disease 88% of the time and correctly ruled it out 96% of the time.
Now, for the first time, we can measure this in life in people with Parkinson's disease, and also perhaps even more importantly, people who may be at risk for Parkinson's disease, but don't yet have the symptoms of Parkinson's disease.
Dr. Ken Merrick says Parkinson's disease begins in the brain many years before symptoms start.
The real key here is that it offers the opportunity to develop treatments prior to the onset of symptoms, so that we might ultimately be able to prevent the symptoms of Parkinson's disease.
Now, this test joins another one called SYN1, available since 2019, that detects traces of the protein in skin. It's studied with funding from the National Institutes of Health. That brings us to our question for you this morning. Are you honest with your doctor when it comes to your health? Yes or no? We want to hear from you. You can vote, KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. You can also vote in our app, and of course take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. Speaking of health, we'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, the American Academy of Pediatrics says more needs to be done to keep kids away from tobacco. On Monday, the AAP published its new set of policy statements, which are based on updated information on related issues, including e-cigarettes usage. Researchers say e-cigs remain popular with teens and preteens, and the use of hookahs and cigars has not declined. The AAP is calling on the Food and Drug Administration to be more firm with its regulation of tobacco and nicotine products. They also want more federal funding for tobacco prevention programs. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, tobacco use is the #1 cause of preventable death in the U.S. Mass shootings have escalated to a record pace in the U.S., with at least 162 already reported in 2023, according to the Gun Violence Archive. And now there's a new evidence that mass shootings in the U.S. have had a ripple effect on Americans' mental health. Researchers published this year shows the negative impact may extend beyond the survivors and affected community to much broader population. The CDC-funded study found a mental health crisis line saw a spike in messages referencing guns and other firearm-related terms just after the unveiled Texas school shooting. Crisis Text Line is a nonprofit that serves people nationwide, and the study did not track the specific locations of the messages coming in. There's also a recent survey from the Kaiser Family Foundation showing gun violence has more broadly affected most families in the U.S. in one way or another. A new study is suggesting that Black pregnant women are more likely to be tested for drug when compared to white women. The researchers looked at over 3 years of medical records of nearly 38,000 women who gave birth at a healthcare system in Pennsylvania. 16% of the women were Black and 76% were white. However, the study authors found that Black women were tested more often than white women, regardless if they had reported using drugs in the previous year. But among those women who had a history of substance use, the researchers found that white women were more likely to test positive than Black women. The authors note that the study is limited. They only looked at one hospital system, and the findings don't necessarily reflect a national trend. One of the top online video platforms is changing how it deals with content related to eating disorders. Tuesday, YouTube announced that it is banning content that features behaviors that at-risk users could imitate. That includes extreme calorie counting or purging after eating. The ban is for videos that are not focused on recovery. For recovery-focused videos, YouTube will allow the content but restrict who can see it. The platform says only users who are logged onto the site and are over the age of 18 will be able to view such videos. YouTube says it also plans to add panels pointing viewers to crisis resource under eating disorder-related content in 9 countries, as well as provide resources about how to create less harmful content to creators who violated its policies. Type 2 diabetes is rising worldwide, and a new study says the cause of high red meat and refined carb intake. The research published in the journal Nature Medicine estimates that a majority of type 2 diabetes cases are linked to poor diets. Researchers found 8.6 million more cases worldwide were caused by poor food choices in 2018 compared to 1990. Processed meat like sausage, bacon, and salami are to blame, and refined wheats instead of whole grains were a main cause as well. Lack of nutrients such as nuts, seeds, and yogurt also had an affect risk of getting the disease. A new survey says food addictions are on the rise for older Americans. If you crave sweet and salty foods, you are not alone. The national poll on healthy aging found 1 in 8 Americans over the age of 50 are addicted to junk foods, highly processed foods, and sugary drinks. Signs of food addiction can include intense cravings, having trouble cutting down on how much you're eating, and experiencing withdrawal. Cleveland Clinic registered dietitian Kristen Kirkpatrick says studies show these foods are hyperpalatable, meaning they make you feel good and make you want more. Adding food addiction can be triggered by an event or emotional issues. Researchers involved the poll suggest physicians discuss food addictions with patients to help find the right treatment. If you're noticing your allergies start earlier this year, climate change could be why. The U.S. National Institute of Food and Agriculture says in a study that climate change is affecting your allergies and even pollen. The agency says allergy season is starting about 20 days earlier. They're 10 days longer. The study adds that plants are producing 21% more pollen than they did in 1990. Allergy sufferers also have to start taking their medications earlier and for longer periods. About 75% of adults 20 to 40 who have asthma have at least one allergy. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got ourselves a breezy and mild start to the day. You may have just seen there's some lightning out there as well with some showers and storms. We'll talk about all of that coming up.
Right now at 5:30, the Joplin City Council hears out a concerned citizen over shooter bottles.
We've got some showers, we've got some thunderstorms out there this morning. We'll take a look at that, when they're going to be out of here, and what happens after that coming up.
Also, the Joplin Airport receives a $860,000 grant to improve multiple things.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Carrie Worthen.
I'm Chris Warner. So much warmer start for us today than what we saw yesterday. And it's going to be much warmer through today. But first, we've got to get through a few of these showers and thunderstorms across the area. So you can see them on the Skywatch Storm Tracker. And if you look close, you can see the little lightning bolts on there. So as we mentioned earlier, though, the Skywatch Storm Tracker, there's one up there, only picks up cloud to ground lightning. But we have been seeing some cloud to cloud lightning from our camera at 7th and Rangeline, which is pointed back to the northwest. Most thunderstorm activity to our north and then out of here, but again, that's not to say we won't see one or two outside of that zone. Low-end risk for some stronger storms is mainly as we head into the overnight hours Wednesday and the very early Thursday morning, and then a few more scattered storms as we head into our Thursday. So these storms this morning, they will go away by late morning, and then after that, we clear out and we will warm up quite nicely. MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline, looking good so far this morning. Same from that KDOT camera at 69,400, of course, just south of Pittsburgh. Right now in Joplin, you see the storms off to the northwest, but we're otherwise partly cloudy. 63, south-southwest breeze at 23, gusting to 35, and it's going to stay quite breezy as we head through today. 60 Fort Scott, 58 Iola, 63 Parsons, 61 Chetopa, Miami, Neosho, and 62 in Carthage. We get our day started. Again, a few scattered storms, breezy, lower 70s by late morning. And then we head into the afternoon. We clear out and we stay breezy and we get quite warm, heating back up into the lower, maybe even mid 80s out there today. As we head into this evening, still clear, breezy at times, mild, 67 by 10 o'clock, overnight lows back into the lower 60s yet again. However, big changes coming. So we got storm chances late tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, temperatures lower 70s, lower 60s. Getting cold Friday night, colder Saturday, could break or tie the record low high. And we could potentially break the record low Saturday night. So if you have outdoor vegetation, do be aware of that because it is going to get cold this weekend. But because we're still in spring, we're getting closer to May, we do rebound back to lower to mid 70s as we head into next week. And then we're watching additional thunderstorm chances as we go into Wednesday evening, and into Thursday morning. So again, this morning storms, nothing to worry about. We're not too concerned about the storms over the next few days, but it's something we'll keep an eye on. And then again, more storm chances next week and very cold weather this weekend. Carrie?
Thanks, Chris. The Joplin City Council hears a citizen's request to ban alcohol shooter bottles in the city. Shooters are the miniature bottles often used as samples or promotional items or found in hotel minibars. John Buck brought the proposal. He says banning them would prevent a lot of trash from ending up on the ground.
If you have any problem with it, I think I would take an internal reflection of yourself and see why it make you so angry, because this is for a betterment of all of us.
Buck claims 50,000 shooter bottles were collected in 4 months just in Joplin. The council says they plan to discuss the proposal further. Improvements are coming to the Joplin Regional Airport. The airport is receiving an $860,000 grant to update the airfield lighting control and monitoring system in the control tower. The money comes from Bartism that provides $15 billion to U.S. airports over 5 years or repairs of modernization. Every year, $20 million is set aside for airports with an FAA contract tower such as Joplin's.
So the tower was built in 2009. All that equipment is original to the building, so it's 14 years old. A lot of them are old enough now that you can't get replacement parts for them, so we just need to go through and replace much of the equipment.
The airport plans to install the new equipment in June. The Joplin Convention and Visitors Bureau is now offering grants to market events and attractions that will happen next year. Patrick Tuttle with the city says every year they have $140,000 that's in the fund to be handed out as grants. Applicants can seek up to $25,000 per event, and the hope is to reach potential visitors from the outside of Joplin.
The best way to grow is get the word out that they're having this event, and that's what we kind of work with them on that part. We're looking for guests that are from 70 miles away or greater, because that's most likely going to be generating a hotel night.
The city is accepting grant applications until early June. If you drive around Pittsburgh, Kansas, you might notice that the town isn't all asphalt roads. The town still holds some of its brick roads. Some of these roads date back to the 1890s. While some of the brick roads may not be visible, the city manager of Pittsburgh says there's more than people might think.
Most of our roads are brick. A lot of them already has asphalt over the top of them, but for the most part, in the historical areas, you definitely have some that are supposed to remain brick, but we have plenty of brick roads, and just about every road has brick as a base.
Hall said that right now the city spends a little over $2 million a year on roads, but could spend more each year on the roads. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and Cherokee County, Kansas Sheriff David Groves is reminding parents about the dangers posed by certain phone apps. He's asking parents to check what apps their kids are using that could open them up to dangerous situations. He says if you find an app like that, to talk to your kids about safely using them.
It's important not just to know what the kids have on their phones, but have conversations about why it's important to limit the information that you're providing, even to people that you may think are your same age range, because not everybody online is honest about who they are.
Sheriff Groves posted a graphic of the apps to keep an eye out for on his Facebook page. This morning we are discussing your health.
Now, the signs can be subtle at first. Parkinson's disease is a progressive condition that typically isn't diagnosed until physical symptoms appear, like tremors and trouble balancing. But new lab tests may be changing that.
The new test can detect traces of a key protein that abnormally clumps in the brain of a person with Parkinson's disease. One test, CyTap, looks for seeds in the protein in spinal fluid. A large study by the Michael J. Fox Foundation found that overall, the test correctly identified people with Parkinson's disease 88% of the time and correctly ruled it out 96% of the time.
And that brings us to our question for you this morning. Are you honest with your doctor when it comes to your health? So far, 80% of you say that you are, 20% of you say that you are not. Now, the next question, how many of you are honest with our poll? I don't know. My parents were always honest with their doctor. Now, granted, he would tell them to do things and they would not do those things, but they were honest because they'd come back, well, did you try that? I'm like, no, sure didn't.
I feel like to get the best results, you need to be honest.
Yeah, honestly, that is true, because if you tell them that, yeah, you did try such and such treatment or whatever, when you really didn't, they're going to, not be able to help you much, and you'll get mad at them because they're not helping. So, yes. Honesty, the best policy, especially when it comes to your health. So, again, make sure you vote through our website, the app, and of course, take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
Okay, that's a look at our top news stories coming up on this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Two teens enjoying a day outside end up finding a piece of Native American history.
Plus, the United States and Japan mark their friendship by planting a cherry tree. We'll have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look at Columbus, Kansas. Topping World Watch, 2 men are under arrest charged with helping to establish a secret police station in New York City on the behalf of the Chinese government. And about 36 officers with China's National Police Force are facing charges they used social media to harass Chinese descendants who lived in the United States. The cases are part of a series of Justice Department prosecutions aimed at disrupting China's attempts to locate pro-democracy activists in the U.S. and to suppress people who are openly critical of Beijing's policies. The cases appear to indicate China is conducting operations inside the country. The issue of the Chinese interference inside the United States has been receiving a lot of attention lately, especially since the U.S. shot down a Chinese spy balloon over South Carolina in early February after it made its way across the country. First Lady Jill Biden and the wife of Japanese Prime Minister Yoko Kishida planted a cherry tree on the White House grounds on Monday. The planting was carried out to honor decades of friendship between their two countries. Kishida is on a rare solo visit to the United States. It is the first time the spouse of the Prime Minister has visited the U.S. by herself. The Japanese embassy in Washington says she was visiting at President Biden's invitation. A major drug haul in the high seas off the coast of Italy. Italian finance police say they pulled 2 tons of cocaine bundles from the waters off Sicily, worth nearly $450 million. The drugs, encased in a waterproof seals, were spotted by surveillance planes floating near the port of Catania. Police say they recovered 1,600 packets of cocaine weighing about 4,500 pounds. Ships scoured the area on Monday looking for signs of boats that might have been involved in the drug operation. Intense fighting continues in Sudan. Explosions and gunfire ringing out in Khartoum as forces continue battling for a third day. At least 185 people have been killed. More than 1,800 have been left wounded. The outbreak of violence that was sparked over the weekend as a power struggle ensues between the nation's 2 top generals and their armies. The U.S. government has urged Americans in the country to shelter in place. This Earth Week has millions focusing on the planet and how to preserve it for future generations. In England, volunteers are targeting plastic pollution with a creative campaign. Ely Lee reports from London.
Scavengers are on the hunt at this beach in the English county of Cornwall, but not for treasure.
This might just look like a few little bits, but it's everywhere. It's billions and billions and billions of pieces.
Volunteers are digging for tiny pellets used to manufacture plastic products, particles that wash up on land, nicknamed mermaid's tears for their environmental impact.
They resemble fish eggs.
Birds and other sea life sometimes eat them, taking in toxic pollutants.
We can monitor what's going in.
Retired engineer Rob Arnold built a machine to collect them.
The sand sinks to the bottom, as you can see, and everything else is carried off into this strainer.
Arnold estimates he's recovered 20 million tiny pellets on this beach alone, and he's combining his art skills with plastic pollution to make a point.
I wanted people to view this and think, and to feel somehow responsible that, you know, this is plastic that I use.
New research reveals more than 170 trillion plastic particles are floating in the world's oceans. And even when hauled in, biologists say reusing the microscopic material is a tough task.
Separating this and turning it into value is going to be incredibly challenging. Really, the thing that we need to do, it's about trying to stop the plastics getting into the environment in the first place.
And while this plastic pursuit may be just a drop in the ocean, volunteers hope to create a new wave of change. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
The artist you saw there in the piece says he's planning another sculpture to draw attention to the problem of plastic pollution. He wants to mold pellets into a meteorite headed towards Earth in a nod to the one that caused the extinction of the dinosaurs more than 60 million years ago. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Still got a few showers and thunderstorms out there, and you can see some outdated lightning strikes. They'll stay on there for a few minutes after they happen. And we've had some cloud-to-cloud lightning as well. No strong or severe thunderstorms, just some showers and a few rumbles of thunder, and that's going to be the case. These will be out of here before too much longer, with the majority of the thunderstorm activity expected to our north, but again, could see a stray thunderstorm outside of that with this activity. Watching the possibility of maybe a strong storm or two late tomorrow night into early Thursday morning in this dark green area, and then some additional thunderstorm chances as we head into our Thursday. So these storms this morning will be out of here pretty quickly, and once they clear out, they take the clouds with them. We clear out, and we start to see continued gusty winds. We're already gusty this morning, and temperatures will warm quite nicely as we head through today. Again, a couple of stray showers possible in the afternoon tomorrow, but then as we end up very early Thursday morning, Looking at a line of thunderstorms possibly developing across parts of southeast Kansas. Starts to get a little more organized as it moves into southwest Missouri, and any strong to severe storms with that will stay to the south and east as that line continues to grow. 20th and Range line, MoDOT camera there looking back to the south. Looks pretty good so far. The roads do look a little bit wet, and we have seen some shower activity in Joplin. And you can see the roads, they're darker in this image, though they're a little bit wet on the KDOT camera at 69 and 400 just south of Pittsburgh. We've had some showers, 63 in Joplin, south-southwest breeze at 23, gusting to 35, and it will remain gusty through today. You have 59 Iola, some 63s in Yates Center, Neodesha, Chanute, Parsons, Chatopa, 62 Miami, Carthage at 61, Neosho and Lamar. We get our morning started again. A few scattered storms. They'll be clearing out of here by late morning, getting into the lower 70s, maybe a stray storm or two by around the noon hour, but outside of that, we are clearing out, breezy, lower 80s as we head into the afternoon. We go into the evening, a mild evening for us, mostly clear skies, still a bit breezy here and there, and we'll eventually make it back down into the lower 60s for our overnight lows. Looking ahead, got those storm chances, lower 70s, lower 60s. Once this moves through, Friday night down to 37. Friday could tie or break the record low high for this time of year and could break the record low. We're talking very frigid temperatures, so if you've got outdoor vegetation, you need to be aware of that this weekend. Be prepared. We do start to warm up heading into next week, back to the mid-70s by midweek, and then we could see some additional thunderstorm chances Wednesday night into Thursday morning next week. We'll be back with more after this, but first is a live look from Columbus, Kansas.
A piece of Native American history has been unearthed in North Carolina, all thanks to two teens enjoying a day outside. A 1,000-year-old Wakuma Indian dugout canoe could shed new light on the Tar Heel State's history. Zach Solon explains.
Got it. Hands up. Keep it.
This canoe, pulled from Lake Waccamaw Wednesday, is a symbol of nearly 1,000 years of Native American culture in southeastern North Carolina. Michael Jacobs is the chief of the Waccamaw Siouan tribe.
All of our tribal members that contribute.
He says it's rare to find pieces of history like this one.
That canoe at 28 feet long would have carried a many a brave. We feel like in our heart it's a history that we're still exploring and understanding, because this is the first time we've had access.
The discovery unexpected. Eli Hill is one of 3 teenagers who stumbled upon it while swimming in the lake during the summer of 2021.
We were throwing mosses at each other, and I stepped on it, and I thought it was a log, and I tried to pick it up, and it never came up, so we kept digging at it, and it just kept going. And then the next day we came back, and we started digging some more, and it just kept going.
State archaeologist John Mintz says that led to a lengthy removal process, but it was worth it in the end.
This canoe is about 1,000 years old, and it's a southeastern Indian canoe, and it's originated from this area. So we wanted the local Indian group to be part of it and share with the agency of it.
The canoe will be taken to a lab in Greenville to be preserved, studied, and hopefully share its secrets.
The use of this dugout canoe is one of those things. We're looking forward to examining it, run some tests on it, and really finding out and going back to our elders and getting the history of it to where we can teach the truth to our people and know that we've got concrete evidence to stand on.
Our praise, our peace, our joy.
While Hill and his friends recognize the weight of their discovery,
I realized how much it actually meant to people. I realized that it means more to them than it does to me. So I just thought it was a really cool experience for all of them, and just to be a part of that.
Members of the Waccamaw Siouan tribe are grateful.
Our history is still unfolding. When colonialists made contact with our tribe, there's a lot of the things that we held as historical and meaningful to us as cultural that we're still putting together.
The canoe was taken to a lab in Greenville, North Carolina, where it will be examined and preserved for its historical relevance. We'll be right back. When you're this lucky in love, it deserves to be celebrated in a special way. A Virginia couple renewed their vows Sunday near the finish line of the Boston Marathon. Tim Sir and Cherry Rose wore unicorn costumes to honor the Boston Athletic Association symbol of mythical creatures. The The organization puts on the marathon and chose the unicorn mascot back in the 1980s when the club held its first organized track and field competition. The couple wanted to marry at the finish line back in 2020, but then COVID hit and derailed those plans. They ended up getting married in 2021 and chose this year's Boston Marathon to renew their vows. It's their third Boston Marathon.
Well, today, at least this morning, not necessarily a good day to go out like a unicorn, but maybe later today. We've got some scattered showers, storms, breezy, warm though, back into the lower 70s by late morning. Then those storms clear on out of here and we start to see clear skies, breezy conditions, gusts 30, 35 miles an hour into the lower 80s for highs. We head into this evening, we remain clear, a little bit on the breezy side and mild. Look at this, 73 at 8, 67 at 10, and lower 60s once again for our overnight lows. Not that anybody's complaining. Late evening storms Wednesday, storms Thursday, Friday, lower 70s, lower 60s. Then we get really cold heading into this weekend. 37 Friday night, possibly 30 by Saturday night. So if you've got some outdoor vegetation, be aware of that as we head into this weekend when it could get quite cold. Next week, warming back to the mid 70s with some additional thunderstorm chances next Wednesday into Thursday. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Right now at 6, a Jasper County, Missouri man will soon head to prison for shooting death of a Nevada woman in 2019.
We got some showers, even a few rumbles of thunder out there this morning, but they won't last all day. We'll tell you when they're going to get out of here and what happens after that coming up.
Also, the 4 states hit the links for some fun and to provide support to a Joplin recovery provider.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Carrie Worthen.
I'm Chris Warner. Just after 6 o'clock on this Tuesday morning, downhill run to Friday, and well, we got some showers out there, but at least it's a lot warmer than what it was yesterday morning.
A lot warmer.
It was cold yesterday morning, and we're looking good aside from the showers and a few rumbles of thunder. You can see them there on the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Again, nothing strong, nothing severe, just a few showers and some rumbles of thunder. Nice way if you're sleeping this morning. You're not hearing this, but you are probably sleeping well. Thunderstorms, they'll kick out of here later, watching the possibility of a strong storm or two in this dark green area late tomorrow night into early Thursday morning, then later on Thursday, some scattered storm chances. These storms get out of here by late morning, noon at the latest, and then after that they take the clouds with them and we warm up. We've got breezy conditions now. They will stay breezy through today, but it will be quite nice. MoDOT camera, 20th and range line, things looking good so far this morning, and same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400 just south of Pittsburgh. But we do have some wet roads out there because we've been seeing those showers this morning. In Joplin right now, got that light rain, 63, south-southwest breeze at 17, gusting upwards of 29. Across the area, temperatures look like this: 60 Fort Scott, 61 Chanute, 63 Chetopa, 62 Miami, 60 Neosho. As we get our morning started, got those scattered showers, storms, breezy, but warming up nicely. We're talking into the lower 70s by late morning. And as we head into the afternoon, we clear out, staying breezy, but look at these temperatures warming into the lower 80s. We'll have another full look at your forecast and something you need to know about this weekend here in a few more minutes. Gary?
Thanks, Chris. A vehicle drives off the road on I-44 in Joplin and overturns in the woods. Authorities say at about 4:30 Monday afternoon, a single vehicle overturned off the right side of I-44 and ended up in the trees. Joplin Fire, Joplin Police, Metro 1, and Newton County Ambulance all responded emergency. Joplin Fire rescued the driver and the infant passenger from the wreckage. Joplin Police Department says the driver and the infant passenger were transported to an area hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Authorities charge a Joplin man for a pair of burglaries. According to JPD, 2 burglaries occurred in close proximity and around the same time frame at a Boyd Metals and Joplin Plumbing earlier this month. At Joplin Plumbing, the suspect damaged an excavator, stole thousands of dollars worth of tools in a 2001 Toyota Tundra truck. The suspect was captured on surveillance video and identified as Clayton D. Burke. When located by detectives, Burke was in possession of property stolen during one of the burglaries. Prosecutors have filed charges of first and second degree burglary. Authorities arrest a teenager after a burglary report at Vapor Maven on South Rangeline Road in Joplin. It happened shortly after midnight Saturday morning. When officers arrived, they noticed the back door was unsecured. Officers found a 17-year-old male inside the building, and they say he refused to follow orders and fled. Officers then chased and arrested the teen without incident. The report says the suspect broke display cases and stole both vapes and cash. A man charged with shooting death of an evaded woman learns his fate. Jason Hullum is sentenced to 32 total years in prison. He was charged with second-degree murder for 25 years. His second-degree assault and second-degree burglary charges are from 7 years, and each will run concurrently. The victim was 30-year-old Tara Harlem. The crime happened in 2019. When officers arrived at the home of 200 block of South Spring Street, they found Jason Hullum and Tara Hullum inside the home. Tara died at the hospital. Authorities say Jason is a prior and persistent offender. Police in Alabama say they have strong leads but have not released any information about possible suspects in this weekend shooting at a teen's birthday party. Family and friends of the 4 people killed continue to mourn. More than 30 others were injured. Jared Hill has the latest.
This is a picture of siblings Phil and Alexis Dowdell when things were better.
I don't know if I would still be standing here today if he wouldn't have saved my life.
Alexis says Phil's last act as big brother was her protector, saving her as gunfire erupted at her Sweet 16 last Saturday night at a dance studio in Dadeville, Alabama. He died in her arms.
He was going in and out, and then when somebody from the ambulance had came in and they felt his pulse and they was like, he's gone.
The 18-year-old high school senior had committed to play football at Jacksonville State University in the fall.
I'm broken. My heart is just ripped out.
Phil and Alexis's mom, LaTanya Allen, was chaperoning the party. She got shot twice, and she should be fine. But she says she will not find peace until whoever did this is caught.
I don't know why would they come to my daughter's Sweet 16 with any altercation they had to bring a gun and shoot innocent kids.
4 young people were killed that night. In addition to Dowdell, 17-year-old high school senior Shankevia Smith, 19-year-old Marcia Collins, and 23-year-old Corbin Holston, gone. Yesterday, state lawmakers spoke about the shooting at a pre-planned event to push for gun violence legislation.
I am tired of hearing the wails and the cries of parents and families who have lost their loved ones, and elected officials have not acted.
Investigators say they're conducting interviews and that shell casings used in handguns have been recovered from the scene. They're asking anyone with any information to come forward. Jared Hill, CBS News.
The White House says President Biden was briefed on the shooting and that the White House spoke to local officials and law enforcement to offer support. Alabama Governor Ivey posted a statement on Twitter saying she grieves with the people of Dadeville and that the violent crime has no place in the state. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. The Joplin community hit the links to show their support for a local recovery outreach group. The 17th annual Accident Recovery Charity Golf Tournament was held at Joplin's Twin Hills Golf Course. Accident Recovery supports people recovering from drugs or substance abuse. They, in turn, need the support of the community to continue the mission.
So when people come together to support something, even if you're not deep in the trenches, like if you're not volunteering or maybe on the board or even on staff with Accident Recovery, to just be a part of it, like there is great power when we come together collectively as people.
More than 20 teams participated in the tournament. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, a Kansas City shooting captures the nation's attention when a black teen shows up at the wrong address and is shot twice by an elderly white man. We have the latest. Plus, a new study reports that only heart disease, cancer, and smoking kill more Americans than poverty. And Chris returns with another look at your Tuesday forecast and when the 4 states can expect to settle into some truly spring-like temperatures. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look at Columbus, Kansas. Topping Nation Watch this morning, Hollywood is facing a real-life drama as the movie and television industry is starting at a possible writers' strike. Members of the Writers Guild of America voted overwhelmingly to strike when their contract expires on May 1st. The WGA has more than 11,000 members. The union is seeking more pay and better health and pension benefits. The Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers say it is trying to work out a fair contract and avoid a strike. The WGA previously went on strike in 2007. The walkout lasted 100 days and forced most of Hollywood to shut down production. A Virginia grand jury has issued indictments connected to the White House nationalist protest in Charlottesville in 2017. The Albemarle County grand jury has indicted multiple individuals for burning an object with the intent to intimidate. That's more than likely to reference to the tiki torches used by protesters in the Unite the Right rally on the University of Virginia campus. The counter-protester named Heather Heyer was killed by a speeding car during the demonstration by white supremacists. While the Commonwealth attorney won't say how many individuals have been indicted, the convicted defendants could serve up to 5 years in prison. A 65-year-old man is facing murder charges after allegedly shot and killed a woman who authorities say accidentally turned into his driveway. This happened Saturday in Herborn, a rural town upstate New York. The Washington County Sheriff's Office has charged Kevin Monahan with second-degree murder in the death of Kylan Gillis. Investigators say Gillis and 3 other people accidentally turned into Monahan's driveway while looking for a friend's home. Washington County Sheriff Jeffrey Murphy says Monahan fired 2 shots from his front porch and 1 bullet killed Gillis. She was just 20 years old. Monahan is currently jailed and will have a court appearance in the coming days. New felony charges for an 84-year-old man accused of shooting Ralph Yarl in the head late last week. Authorities say the 16-year-old mistakenly went to the wrong house when he was trying to pick up his younger brothers last Thursday night and was shot twice. Jared Hill has the latest.
16-year-old Ralph Yarl is out of the hospital this morning as the man accused of shooting him, 84-year-old Andrew Lester, could soon be behind bars.
A warrant was issued for Mr. Lester's arrest. I can tell you there was a racial component to the case.
Andrew Lester is facing 2 felony charges, armed criminal action and first-degree assault, which carries a penalty of up to life in prison. Yarl's family says he was gunned down after mixing up the address when he went to pick up his younger siblings in a Kansas City neighborhood, going to Northeast 115th Street instead of Northeast 115th Terrace, a block away. Court documents say he rang the doorbell, waited, then the door opened.
He was immediately confronted with an armed man who told him that he did not want to see him on his property again, and then he opened fire.
Charging documents allege Lester shot the teen twice with a revolver through a glass door. Yarl's aunt.
If he was a white 16-year-old boy and he rang that door, do you think it would have been the same outcome?
According to the probable cause statement, Lester told police he thought someone was breaking into his house and that no words were exchanged before the shooting. That shooting sparked protests in Kansas City over the weekend. The house where it happened has been vandalized. Jared Hill, CBS News.
The Yarl family attorney said President Biden called and offered his prayers in Ralph's health and for justice. 2 days after Yarl was shot, a 20-year-old woman was killed by a homeowner in upstate New York Saturday after the car she was drove in with the wrong address. In an update to the Ralph Yarl story, financial support is pouring in for the black teenage shot by a white man after he rang the doorbell at the wrong address. The GoFundMe page set up for him has passed its $1.5 million goal, and it has a new target of $2 million to pay for Yarl's health expenses, college education, and a planned trip to West Africa. Yarl is recovering from 2 gunshot wounds sustained while trying to pick up his younger siblings in Kansas City last Thursday. That's a look at some of today's top national stories.
We've got ourselves a few showers and even a couple of rumbles of thunder out there, but they won't last forever. We'll take another look at that forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. A lot to go over this morning, but first we've got time for a little weather trivia. So if you study synoptic meteorology, what do you concentrate on? Is it the physics of atmospheric motions, air-sea interactions, air pollution, or large-scale weather systems? Find out the answer in just a moment. We've got some showers, even a few rumbles of thunder out there. It's a little hard to see under the Chinook, but you can see a couple of little lightning strikes out here, one older one up here, another one up here. So again, just a few rumbles of thunder, no strong or severe storms, just some good old-fashioned rain showers. These storms will get out of here before too much longer with more of the storm activity concentrated to the north, but that's not to say we can't see any outside of that. Watching the possibility of a strong storm or two, especially as we head into tomorrow night and very early Thursday morning with a possible round of thunderstorms and a few more scattered thunderstorms throughout our day on Thursday. So these morning showers, they'll kick out of here pretty quickly, no later than noon, and then we'll see clearing skies back behind that, and we're going to start to warm up, but we're also going to be quite breezy. We'll talk about the wind in just a moment. We go into our Wednesday afternoon, a few scattered showers are possible. And then we head into the overnight and into early Thursday morning where we could see a few more showers and thunderstorms develop across the area. You can see it's a loose association of thunderstorm activity as it starts to roll off to our east by noon from Stockton, just west of Monette, back down toward Neosho and Anderson. It starts to become more of a line, but still nothing too concerning. It won't actually ramp up until it moves east of us, and that's where they're watching the possibility of some additional strong storms. MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line, got some damp roads out there. Otherwise, not too bad to start our day. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400 because we've had those showers rolling through this morning, so be aware of a few slick spots out there. And there's those clouds. Every so often, we'll see some cloud-to-cloud lightning, but again, nothing too crazy. Got some showers in Joplin, 63, south-southwest breeze at 17, gusting to 29. And across the area, a mixed bag of temperatures, all in the upper 50s, lower 60s. 63 Parsons, Chetopa, 61 in Chinook, Pittsburgh, Lamar, 62 Carthage, Miami, and 60 in Neosho. We go through the rest of our morning. Again, a few of those scattered storms and showers out there. Breezy, winds gusting upwards of 30, possibly 35, but we warm up nicely into the lower 70s by late morning. And again, once these storms clear out, they take the clouds with them. We have sunny skies, breezy conditions, temperatures into the lower 80s this afternoon. And that means this evening, nice mild evening. Again, a bit breezy, clear skies, 73 by 8, 67 at 10. Overnight lows back to the lower 60s once again. All right, back to our question. If you study synoptic meteorology, what do you concentrate on? Well, if you happen to guess D, large-scale weather systems, you would be correct. Synopticians typically study this information in order to produce short and long-term forecasts, hence what we do and what we keep an eye on. All right, some evening showers, more storms Thursday, more storms Friday, lower 70s, lower 60s. As we head into the weekend, though, Friday night, 37 for the low. This star here means we could tie or potentially break the record low high for Saturday, and we could potentially break the record low Saturday night. So if you've got outdoor vegetation, you've got until Friday afternoon really to get it taken care of, prepared, brought inside, whatever you need to do, because it's going to get cold through the weekend. However, it's a brief period of cold. We start warming back up heading into next week. We're getting into the mid-70s toward the end of the week. However, watching additional thunderstorm chances Wednesday evening into Thursday morning. So not bad overall, but we got a cold weekend ahead of us for sure. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, poverty is silently killing hundreds of thousands of Americans. That's according to the study in JAMA that associated poverty with estimated 183,000 deaths in 2019. Researchers say people in poverty have less access to resources and that only heart disease, cancer, and smoking kill more Americans. They hope their findings will lead to better policies and address the issue. New research from Tufts University links poor food choices to 14 million cases of type 2 diabetes. Scientists analyzed data from the past 30 years and found poor carbohydrate quality is leading to a driver of new cases. That includes lack of eating whole grains, consuming too much refined rice and wheat, and eating too much processed meat. In infectious disease, experts say it's time to end the universal masking in healthcare settings. Physicians say the updates published in the Annals of internal medicine reflect advancements in prevention and management. Most U.S. adults and a third of children use dietary supplements. That's according to a new study from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention studying supplements used from 2017 to March 2020. Researchers found that nearly 59% of adults said they used at least one, and 35% of children and adolescents had. Experts say use of dietary supplements is probably higher now as it grew during the COVID-19 pandemic, when people were trying to boost immunity. But the market for the supplements have been growing for at least a decade around the world. According to one market research and consulting company, in the U.S. alone, it was an estimated $20.5 billion market in 2021. Health officials in the U.S. plan on launching a major study on the symptoms of Gulf War illness. The Department of Veterans Affairs and National Institutes of Health announced Monday that they're collaborating on a joint study. Some services members who came back from the Persian Gulf conflict in the early 90s complained of strange symptoms, including unexplained tiredness, problems with memory, and stomach problems. While doctors recognized that something was going on with these otherwise healthy troops, different agencies had different descriptions of Gulf War illness. Even today, there is no one agreed upon definition. In response, Gulf War veterans will be screened at sites in Washington, Miami, and California, and then will be referred to the NIH. Their scientists will observe them and run tests for up to 2 weeks to make definite diagnoses. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Yeah, we've got a few showers and even a few thunderstorms out there. No strong or severe storms, just some good old-fashioned rain falling. We'll talk about this rain, how long it's going to last, and how warm today's going to get, as well as a warning for the weekend when we come back.
Right now at 6:30, ready for takeoff. The Joplin Regional Airport has an upgrade in its future thanks to an $860,000 grant.
We've got ourselves a few showers, even a couple of thunderstorms out there this morning. No strong or severe storms, but still a wet start for our Tuesday. We'll talk about our temperatures today and some additional thunderstorm chances coming up.
Also, a Joplin resident wants to keep his city clean and approaches the city council for their help in doing so.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Carrie Worthen.
I'm Chris Warner. So a much warmer start for us today. Unfortunately, if you're not a fan of the rain, it's a much wetter start for us out there as well. So we've got a few showers and thunderstorms across the area. If you look just to the southeast of Chanute, you can see a few of those little lightning strike icons on there. So again, just a few stray storms, nothing too crazy. Otherwise, just some good light showers this morning. And the good news is they'll be out of here before too much longer. It's tomorrow. Especially tomorrow night and early Thursday morning, we've got this low wind risk for a couple of strong storms. I think the bulk of any strong and severe storm activity is going to stay off to our northwest, but we could see a stray storm or two that gets a little unruly as we head into early Thursday morning, and then a few more scattered thunderstorms as we head into Thursday and again into Friday. Once these showers and storms clear out this morning, they'll take the clouds with them, and it will end up being a relatively pleasant day for us. Tomorrow afternoon, a couple of stray showers, maybe a thunderstorm possible, but our better chances are going to come as we head again into early Thursday morning. We could see a few widely scattered showers and thunderstorms out there. This is where if we saw a strong storm or two, this might be the time. But as you can see, not a lot of organized activity. Now, as we head into the afternoon, start to get a line of storms forming. And then as we get later in the day, this line pushes off to our east, but that's when it intensifies. And so any severe weather Thursday expected off to our south and east. MoDOT camera, 20th and range line, looking good so far, but some wet roads out there. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400 just south of Pittsburgh. So do be aware, we've had those showers. Roads are a little bit damp. This morning, we're at 63, light rain in Joplin, south-southwest breeze at 17, gusting to 29, and we're going to have those gusty winds all day today and into the evening. 63 Pittsburgh, Parsons, 62 Chautauqua, 60 Miami, 58 Neosho, and 62 in Carthage. We get our day started, some scattered storms, breezy, lower 70s by late morning, and as we head into the afternoon, we clear out, still breezy, but look at these temperatures warming into the lower 80s. We do have some concerns about temperatures this upcoming weekend. We'll talk more about that here in a few more minutes. Carrie?
Thanks, Chris. Joplin Regional Airport receives an $860,000 grant to update the airfield lighting, and monitoring system in the control tower. The money comes from a bipartisan infrastructure bill that provides a $15 billion to the U.S. airports for more than 5 years for repairs and modernization. Each year, $20 million is set aside for airports with an FAA contract tower. Joplin is one of 33 airports that were approved.
The city owns the tower, but it's manned by a contractor that contracts with the FAA. So instead of having FAA controllers themselves, they're paid for through a private company that contracts with the FAA.
The airfield lights and monitoring equipment in the tower are more than 14 years old. These updates will help pilots communicate with the tower and improve safety at no effect to passengers.
Passengers will probably see no difference, commercial passengers. Pilots might see a little bit of difference. They might see some more efficient use of some of the equipment that's already out here. But it's basically an infrastructure improvement.
The grant money has already been allocated. The airport is planning to install the new equipment in June. The Joplin Convention and Visitors Bureau now offers grants to market events and attractions that will happen next year. City official Patrick Tuttle says every year they have $140,000 that is in fund to be handed out as grants. Applicants can seek up to $25,000 per event. Once applications are submitted, the Bureau will then decide which grant to accept based on what the value of the events will be.
Any event that really has a draw of the public, open to the public, our wish is something that's going to be able to generate hotel rooms and bring people from out of Joplin into Joplin. So we're really looking for events that are Joplin-based events, but could benefit from a larger draw.
The city is accepting grant applications until early June. The city of Joplin can look forward to a new outdoor recreation area. Missouri Governor Mike Parsons announced a more than $1.4 million grant to build the new outdoor space south of Zorro Avenue and east of Lone Elm Road. The nearly 100-acre area will include bicycle-related amenities ranging from a BMX-style pump track, a children's bike playground, and 5 to 7 miles of single-track mountain bike trail. No word yet on when construction will begin or completed date. On Monday, a Joplin resident spoke to City Council about a proposal to ban alcohol shooter bottles. Shooters are the miniature bottles often used as samples or promotional items or found in a hotel minibars. John Buck brought the proposal. He says banning them would prevent a lot of trash from ending up on the ground.
Everywhere. I mean, last year I walked 3,000 miles and 80% of that's probably in the streets of Joplin, and the most found piece of trash while walking are those shooter bottles. And they're not just a problem with the homeless and transit population, they're a problem throughout our whole community. You know, finding them at the on-ramps off the highway, finding them at the Little League baseball parks.
Council says they plan to discuss the proposal further. This morning we are discussing your health.
Yeah, at least 500,000 people in the U.S. have been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and that's according to National Institutes of Health. But that number is likely higher as many people go undiagnosed or are misdiagnosed.
Early detection is critical since many therapies work best when given at first sign of symptoms or before. That's not just for Parkinson's disease, but any disease or alignment.
But in the specific case of Parkinson's, new lab tests may be giving doctors an early weapon in the fight. The diagnostic tool works best, though, when it's used as early as possible. And that brings us to our question for you this morning. How honest are you when it comes to your health with your doctor? So far, 78% of you say that you are honest with them. And sorry, I said how honest are you? Are you honest? And 22% of you, the question and the answers make more sense now. 22% of you say that you are not. So make sure you take time to vote in the properly phrased poll through our website, through the app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
All right, that's a look at our top news stories coming up on this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. McDonald's announces some changes to its burgers coming in the near future and the return of a masked mascot.
Plus, we've got some showers. We've got a few rumbles of thunder out there this morning. Then we'll clear out. We'll talk about all of that and this much colder weekend when we come back.
But first, here's a live look at Columbus, Kansas. In Consumer Watch this morning, Florida lawmakers are taking up Governor Ron DeSantis' war against Disney. According to DeSantis, the Republican-controlled state legislature will advance a new bill aimed at allowing a state takeover of Disney-controlled land. Earlier this year, DeSantis tried to take over the Reedy Creek Improvement District. It's a special tax district that gives Disney control over the land around its Disney World Resort in Central Florida. DeSantis assigned his own representatives to that board to take it over. But before they could take office, the outgoing board quietly stripped the district of its powers and gave them directly to Disney. The new bill seeks nullify that action. DeSantis has claimed the action was improper. Disney says it's legal since it's agreed to in 2 meetings that were advertised to the public and in accordance with Florida law. Today is tax day, the deadline to file taxes with the IRS. Those who need more time can request an extension, and that would last until October 16th. So far, more than 200 million people have filed their taxes this year, according to the latest data on the IRS website. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says the House will pass a bill to raise the nation's debt ceiling for 1 year, but on the condition of drastic federal spending cuts. McCarthy made the announcement during a speech on Wall Street yesterday, which also coincided with a 100th day as a Speaker of the House. The White House said McCarthy's speech is not a plan and again called for the nation's spending limit to be raised properly with no conditions. And after spending years in hiding, the hamburger is back. The McDonald's mascot has returned to help promote updates to its classic burgers, which includes softer buns, meltier cheese, and more Big Mac sauce. Those updates have already been rolled out to select stores on the West Coast and are slated to be available nationwide by early next year. The benefits of a 4-day work week keep coming in. First, most companies in a large trail found it's a better way to do business, and other studies found it's good for employees' mental health. As Ian Lee reports, researchers say it's also good for nature.
Nestled in West England, between rolling hills and a babbling brook, is a workplace revolution. The company Tyler Grange helps other corporations protect the environment, but it can be a dirty business because employees often burn fuel traveling to different job sites.
Our main environmental impact is around CO2 emissions and driving cars.
Managing Director Simon Ursel says shortening the work week from 5 to just 4 days seemed like a better way to nurture nature.
And we noticed there was a 21% reduction in miles traveled. So that's a heck of a lot of reduction in CO2 emissions and emissions from vehicles, rubber emissions from your tires, maintenance.
Last year, the company joined the world's largest 4-day workweek study.
When countries have higher hours of work, they tend to have higher carbon emissions.
Researchers found commuting times in the U.S. dropped 27%. Professor Juliet Shore says the reduced hours are not a cure for climate change, but can be part of the solution.
If large numbers of people move onto 4-day schedules, I think we can expect a pretty significant carbon reduction from that.
Employees also notice the savings.
It affects the wear and tear on your vehicle, the cost of the fuel to drive in and out of work.
What was good for the environment was also better for business.
Our clients are saving a lot of money, that's for sure, because we tend to do some miles for work and we would charge the client for those miles.
Does that make you guys more competitive then?
Yes. Yes, the 4-day work week has made us much more competitive.
Helping employees, the bottom line, and the environment, he says, is a win-win-win. Ian Lee, CBS News, Gloucestershire, England.
Tyler Grange says they also saw a 6% rise in productivity after moving to a 4-day work week. That's it for Consumer Watch. Now here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we still got a few scattered showers and storms out there this morning. Breezy, warming into the lower 70s, and they'll start to clear out by late morning. Maybe a stray one hanging out by noon, but after that, all clear. And we'll start to see sunny skies. We remain breezy, talking gusts 30, 35 miles an hour at times. But look at these temperatures pushing into the mid to lower 80s, the lower to mid 80s. There we go into this evening. Clear, still breezy, dropping back down to the lower 60s again. I want to talk about a couple of things. Some thunderstorm chances late Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, lower 70s, 60s. Friday night, 37 for the low, 51 on Saturday, 30 for the low. Some records are in danger this weekend, which also means that your outdoor vegetation could be in danger this weekend as well. So you've got through Friday afternoon to get ready for this cool down. Then we start to warm back up mid to upper 60s by Monday. Well, it's almost time to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. They're coming up after the break. But first, let's take a quick look at what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Vladimir Dutit. Coming up on CBS Mornings, comedian and host John Oliver will join us to discuss season 10 of his show Last Week Tonight and tell us some of his favorite moments from the past decade. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some birthdays this morning. We begin with Josh Layson in Columbus, celebrating birthday number 6. Happy birthday, Josh.
And next we have Keegan Ellison, who's turning 13 from Carl Junction. And there's a note, and it says, quite the catch. 15 were caught, 10 are shown, 5 could not fit in the picture.
That is an impressive catch, Keegan.
Yes.
Happy birthday. We've also got Trey Shaw celebrating birthday number 45. Very happy birthday to you, Trey.
Jim Jarvis turning 53 from Girard. Happy birthday.
We got Gary Wilson over in Joplin celebrating birthday number 80. A very happy birthday to you.
And another one turning 80, Joyce Forrest from Scammon.
And we've got Georgiana Wybera celebrating number 90 in Joplin. Says she loves watching Westerns with Dale Robertson, with love from Nick and Teresa. Happy birthday.
Okay, we have Pauline Flores. She's turning 91 years young from Fredonia.
And Jay and Kendra Clements celebrating their 8th wedding anniversary today. Very happy anniversary to the Clements.
Happy anniversary to Charlie and Ashley from Columbus. They're celebrating their 18th anniversary.
And we've got another one in Thayer. Brad and Lisa Johnson celebrating 14 years of wedded bliss. Happy anniversary going out to the Johnsons.
And then we have Teresa Wren. Happy birthday from Pittsburgh.
And in Altamont, Carol Regis celebrating a birthday today as well. So that was a good mix of birthdays and anniversaries. And we love celebrating with you as much as you love celebrating with us. Carrie, where do they need to send their celebrations so we can all celebrate together?
They need to send their celebrations to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com.
All right, make sure you get that in there. And you know what? When you're on our website, checking out all the cool stuff that's over there, make sure you take time to sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club. It is easy to do. You get great deals from local businesses, and the best part of all, I think, you get a special birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. So head over to KOAMnewsnow.com, sign up for that birthday club today. All right, showers. Few thunderstorms out there spreading across the region from southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri, back into northeast Oklahoma. And these will continue to roll through the morning hours. But the good news is we're not anticipating anything nasty out of them. Could see a strong storm or two late tomorrow night into early Thursday morning. I think the bulk of the strong and severe activity will remain to our northwest, but we could see a stronger storm or two late tomorrow night, Thursday morning. And then throughout our Thursday, some additional scattered thunderstorm chances. Now these storms, they'll roll on out of here, and then we will have a pretty decent Tuesday lined up for us. And then as we head into Wednesday afternoon, again, could see a stray shower or two, maybe a thunderstorm, but nothing too crazy. It's going to be Thursday morning when we could see some more showers and thunderstorms start to roll through. And again, a couple of them could be on the strong side, but as you can see, they are widely scattered. By noon, we start to get a line from Stockton, just west of Monette, back toward Neosho and Anderson. And it doesn't do a lot until it moves out of our area, and that's when it'll start to intensify. That's where they're expecting severe weather Thursday. All right, MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline. In between the showers, you can see starting to get some sunlight out there. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400 just south of Pittsburgh. And there's the sun trying to peek out from under those clouds. 63 in Joplin, winds gusting upwards of 29. We will remain breezy through today. Let's take a quick look at today. Scattered showers, storms pushing the lower 70s by late morning. These things are out of here by noon at the latest, if not earlier. Breezy, winds gusting 30, 35 miles an hour. Highs today pushing the lower 80s under mostly clear skies this afternoon. Well, coming up when the KOAM Morning News switches over to Fox 14, we've got a story that may be music to some people's ears. Phil Whitmarsh is a man on a mission. He's taking wood from old battleships and turning them into guitars, not just for the love of music. He's hoping to raise some money for a good cause in the process. You can join us for that and a lot more when the KOAM Morning News switches over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities arrested a teenager after a burglary report at Vapor Maven in Joplin. It happened shortly after midnight on Saturday. Officers noticed the back door was unsecured to the building, and officers found a 17-year-old male inside. They say he refused to follow orders and fled. Officers apprehended the teen without incident. Authorities say the suspect broke display cases and stole both vapes and cash. Authorities say at about 4:30 Monday afternoon, a single vehicle overturned off the right side of I-44 and ended up in a tree. Joplin Fire rescued the driver and the infant passenger from the wreckage. Joplin Police Department says the driver and the infant passenger were transported to an area hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The Joplin Regional Airport receives an $860,000 grant to update the airfield lighting and control monitoring system in the control tower. The money comes from the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill that provides $15 billion to U.S. airports over 5 years for repairs and modernization. Every year, $20 million is set aside for airports with an FAA contract tower such as Joplin's. And the Joplin Convention and Visitors Bureau is now offering grants to do market events and attractions that will happen next year. Patrick Tuttle with the city says every year they have $140,000 that is in the fund to be handed out as grants. Applicants can seek up to $25,000 per event, and the hope is to reach potential visitors from the outside of Joplin. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
We've got ourselves some showers this morning, clearing out later today. We'll have mostly sunny skies, breezy, winds gusting 20, 30 miles an hour, maybe a bit more. But look at these temperatures, lower 80s. We head into the evening, a nice mild evening, clear, breezy still, eventually reaching overnight lows of about 60. As we look ahead, we got more storms late Wednesday into Thursday and Friday, and then we are much colder heading into this weekend. So if you've got some outdoor vegetation, make sure you are prepared for this cold weather that is on the way.
Okay, coming up today at noon, we're making Twinkie cupcakes in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Prosecutors have filed felony charges against the homeowner accused of shooting Ralph Yarl, a black Kansas City teenager who went to the wrong house. First on CBS Mornings, Yarl's parents discuss how their son is doing and their reaction to the charges.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, our favorite Tuesday morning cook, Charlene Patton from the Kansas Soybean Commission, stops by to make a batch of lemon berry muffins.
Plus, feed me, Seymour. If you're hungry for some entertainment, the Joplin High School's theater department stops by to tell us all about their latest production of Little Shop of Horrors. That's going to wrap it up for us for now. We will see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you here today at noon.